Hello and welcome to my May and June wrap-up. I started May with Genius the Game by Leopoldo Gaut, which just had come out and I decided to read it, and I'm so happy that I did because it was amazing. First of all, let's look on the outside. Look how pretty it is. It has this huge sparkly brain on there, and then when you open it, it has like different things in here, and there's a brain on there too, which is pretty cool. But enough about that. Let's talk about the book itself. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Ready Player One, but it is a very similar vibe, if you will. Now, this is a world of geniuses. We have three different perspectives. First, there's Rex, who is an Mexican-American. He lives in America, but his parents are actually illegal and his brother ran away a while ago. He is a genius programmer, one of the best in the world, and he wants to find his brother. Then there's Tunde, who is a genius engineer. He built a tower in his village in the middle of nowhere, Africa, that allowed his village to have access to the internet and access to power, which is pretty amazing considering he is 14 years old. And last but not least, there's Painted Wolf, who is a Chinese girl who no one actually knows who she is. What she does is anonymous, and she's basically like a blogger slash activist slash spy, really. She does a little bit of everything. She's great at what she does, coming up with plans and then making them work. And she was the one who put all three of them together, and she got a hold of them, and they have been talking over the internet and becoming best friends, but they've never actually met each other. And they get a chance to do that when this game comes up, a game for geniuses, or a game for teenage geniuses, where a certain number of invitations go out in the world to all the geniuses. Well, not all of them, there's a certain number of invitations, and whoever gets picked goes to America, to this place, and there will be a game where they separate into teams, and the winning team will win an internship with this mega billionaire entrepreneur, which is a pretty big deal. And all of their issues kind of come together because they each have their own issue and family situation that they're dealing with, but at the same time they're each there for each other because they're friends, and it gets really interesting. And as far as I know, there will be 3 books in the series, and I'm so looking forward to reading the rest because this was absolutely amazing. Also, I got to meet the author at BookCon, which was probably one of my favorite moments at BA BookCon. So that's just like a random added bonus there. After that, now that was the very beginning of May. After that, BA and BookCon happened, and no, I did not read during BA and BookCon because I was busy getting all the new books. However, shortly after that, I went on vacation and I got 5 of my newly acquired ARCs with me, hoping to be able to read most of them. And I was actually able to read 3 of them. The first one of which was Replica, which I'm holding upside down. Replica by Lauren Oliver. Well, it has 2 sides, and I got it at BEA, and I got to meet Lauren Oliver, which was really awesome, and I was super excited, so I decided to take it with me on vacation and read it there. This is a story told through 2 different points of views, and in fact the book itself has 2 different points. You can look at it this way, or you can look at it this way, and you can read it in one of 4 ways. You can read this side, then turn it over and read this side. You can read this side, turn it over and read this side, or you can start here and alternate chapters with this side, or start here and alternate chapters with this side. So you can read it any way you want, really, and the story will still make sense. I decided to alternate chapters because I thought that I would get the most out of the story this way, and after much consideration and probably a little bias, I decided to start with the Lyra side. Now, like I said, this is told through 2 different points of views, and that's Lyra and Gemma, and they're 2 teenage girls who are not connected, seemingly, in any way. However, things happen in their lives that interconnect them, and this is a world where Lyra lives in a place that is, let's face it, kind of a lab, and she lives amongst all the other replicas, who are replicas of actual humans. And Gemma lives in the normal world, where She lives a perfectly idyllic, pampered life, and she doesn't know anything of anything that's happening in the world. But then things happen and their stories collide, and it's really, really interesting, and I really enjoyed reading it. But I feel like I can't really tell you more because then it would get in the spoiler, and I don't want to spoil because it was really interesting and I enjoyed reading it just how it is. And one last note about Replica, this is actually an arc that I got a BA. However, the book itself comes out on October 4th, 2016, so make sure to go and get it. The next book that I picked up on my vacation was Beauty and the Clockwork Beast by Nancy Campbell Allen, which I'm so happy I was able to get at BEA because it was really awesome. Now, this is a story, more or less, of Beauty and the Beast, but in a steampunk world. What? Now, there are some differences here and there. There were parts that kind of reminded me of Pride and Prejudice a little bit, but overall, it was really amazing and I enjoyed it so much. I read it in practically one sitting, which was great because I was on vacation chilling by the beach, and that's what you do on vacation, chilling on the beach. So it was awesome. I definitely recommend it. Now, this is another arc. It doesn't come out until August 2016, which is pretty soon. It's only a month away basically, so you gotta get it because it's awesome. The next book that I read was yet another arc. It is The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. And I really enjoyed that one also. It is set in space, and it is told through the perspective of a diabolic named Nemesis. And the diabolics were bred. Basically, they're genetically enhanced humans, but not really. They're bred to be bodyguards, and they're bonded to one person and one person only, and they basically live and die and kill for the person that they're bonded to. Nemesis is bonded to a girl named Sidonia, and in order to protect her, Sidonia's parents sent Nemesis to the Galactic Senate, where she pretends to be Sidonia, which is perfectly reasonable because this is a genetically modified world where people modify themselves all the time. It kind of reminded me of the Hunger Games capital a little bit, with all the politics and all the modifications and all the like stuff. So this non-human diabolic needs to go into the human senate and pretend to be someone else and pretend to be human. And it is really interesting. There's like politics involved, which I usually don't like, but this is written in a very interesting way and I really enjoyed reading it. And then, for lack of a better explanation, stuff happens. And I can tell you what they are because that will spoil the book. And you should go read it on November 1st, 2016 when it comes out. Now, those were the 4 books that I ended up reading in May. And then moving on to June. While I was a BA, I managed to get Gemina, which is the sequel to Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and I wanted to read it because everyone, Ashley, the person that I spend most of my BA time with, talked about it a lot, so I wanted to read it. However, I didn't have the first one, so at the beginning of June I went and got the first one, which is Illuminae, and then I read them back to back, which was awesome. And they're not small books, and I read them for like 3 days, which should tell you how awesome they were. Now, these books are written in a different way. The stories are told, there's like 2 perspectives or more. Actually, there's no really perspectives because the stories are told through documents and files and recordings and an observation, and it's awesome. But basically, they're set in space again. Apparently this was a space time because I'm not done with the spacey books yet, but they're set in space and this small planet gets destroyed, and these people get separated on different ships, and then they have to communicate with each other, and then there's stuff going on, and then there's an AI going nuts, and it's awesome. You should definitely read them. Now, Illuminae itself is already out. It came out last year, and by the way, the dust jacket is plastic. How awesome is that? And then, I mean, okay, let's look at it. So the inside of the cover looks like this, which is really cool. It's like redacted documents and stuff. A lot of that is also inside. And then on the inside, first there's space, and then there's like all kinds of different documents and things and awesomeness. So that was pretty cool. And then Gemina, the one that I got at BEA, it actually comes out on October 18th, 2016. And it was awesome, and this is obviously a paperback, but it follows the same awesomeness as the first one. Look at these swirlies! How awesomely awesome is that? But definitely recommending them. They were amazing. After so much awesomeness in the span of only a few days, I had to take it a little bit easy, and I finally finished my Deliciously Ella Everyday book. I didn't really have much left, and there's not really much to read in cookbooks, but I finished it. I even made a lot of recipes since then, so I'm still planning on making actually a blog post or a video about the Deliciously Ella stuff, but that hasn't happened yet. Anyway, basically it's a plant-based recipe book, and I really liked it. There's a lot of interesting recipes in there. Now, from the recipes that I've made, there have been some successes, there have also been some fails, but that is bound to happen with any book, and I'm still planning on cooking my way through this one and the other one. She has 2 books out, and she has a 3rd book on the way. After that, I decided it was time to start reading my OwlCrate books, because so far I've gotten 4 OwlCrates as of right now. I've gotten 4 OwlCrates. I have gotten April, May, June, and I had bought the December box. So the theme of the May box was steampunk, and the book that we got was Everland by Wendy Spinell, and it is Peter Pan in a post-apocalyptic steampunk world. Actually, yeah, that's a pretty good explanation. These people have taken over England, London, and there's a virus spreading around, killing everybody, except for the kids, except the kids are also kind of dying, except they're dying slower than the adults, or the adults are gone. And it's really interesting. I like it. I like Peter Pan. I like steampunk. And it was awesome. I'm definitely recommending it. We're getting towards the end now. The next book that I read is the June OwlCrate book, which was from the Royalty box, and that is My Lady Jane, which is, let's call it a historical fiction. It is a retelling of the story of Lady Jane Grey, who was an actual person and ruled England for a total amount of 9 days before her cousin beheaded her and took the throne for herself. True story. In here, however, things happen a little differently. There's a touch of magic involved in it's actually shape-shifting. There's shape-shifting magic involved, and it is really cool. Also, it is really funny. There's three authors, that's Cynthia Hand, Brodie Ashton, and Jodi Meadows. It's really funny because they kind of make comments over the book, and it's like, it has a really comedic vibe, and I really enjoyed it. Like, there's sad stuff in here, but it's written in such a way that it's like, it's awesome. You should definitely read it. I enjoyed it so much. Also, the book itself is told in 2 parts. The first part is more or less following actual history with the additions of magic and slight changes. The second part, which is after the midloge, yes, this book has a midloge, which is, I thought it was awesome. And so the second part kind of throws history out the window, and it goes nuts in a very funny, good way. Definitely recommending it. And last but not least, I read Zenith by Sasha Ausberg and Lindsay Cummings, which is the very first book of Sasha from A Book Utopia, which is awesome. I was so looking forward to reading it. Yet another book in space. It's about space pirates, girls who are awesome and kick-ass, and the only thing I didn't like about it is the fact that it was super short. But there will be 2 more stories in this saga, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading them, because this was just not enough. I want more. And these are all the books that I read in May and June. Actually, that was not a bad like reading time for me, to be entirely honest, because last year I've been in the biggest reading slump I've ever been in my life. So reading this many books in the amount of 2 months is pretty amazing. Let me know down in the comments below, what have you been reading? I'm currently reading Becoming Jinn by Laurie Goldstein. I like it so far. There's a second book that I also have that I will read right after, and I'm super excited. Also, Booktubeathon is coming up. The Challenger just came out, so I will be setting up my TBR for the Booktubeathon. I'm so excited. I didn't do Booktubeathon last year. Looking forward to it this year, even though it will be busy, but it's all about having fun. So anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!